How do you create your life the way that you want to? How do you create your business the way that you want to? That is today's question. And also, I'm going to be sharing about how can you actually navigate it and face the challenges along the way. Because for most of us, me included, when we get to create our life, now let me just back up a little bit. Personally, I believe that we are constantly creating our life 24/7. There are no accidents, there are no coincidences. We are always creating our lives. So whatever you are experiencing now, it as bikes go past, it is a reflection of your internal world. No matter what you think, that is the actual truth. And so when we get to a stage when, for most of us humans anyway, when we see that we are in the loop, whether that is work that has been influenced by that, whether that is relationships, whether that is health, there is always a moment when that loop gets more apparent, and when you just feel like the tension in your body, you feel the stress, and you're like, ugh, that's really how it is, and you contract. When you feel that, know that this place is your area of growth. Like I've shared, nothing is a coincidence. As human beings, we're not just human beings. We are a nervous system, we are a body, we're a mind, we're also a spirit and a soul. So we are all encompassing as a whole. So the whole of you is creating this reality right now. And when you get more conscious about that, you get to play, because it doesn't get to be so serious. Life is a playground, and yet it's an opportunity for us to grow and expand beyond this, what we think we see here. Because you can actually create a lot more than you realize. You can actually create and experience within yourself a whole world beyond what you currently are now. However, the key here is that you need to meet all of yourself, because we hold so much internally in our nervous system, in our body, in our minds, in the energy of who we are, that we tend to forget who we are. And everything we're holding is actually an opening. Here we get to discover who we are being at this moment, what we're feeling, what we're thinking. And I don't believe your thoughts create your reality, because you can be thinking one thing, like, I want to make $1 million. That seems to be what everyone thinks. I want to make $1 million, but internally you're stressed out, you're confused. It's like you're in survival. You can only think your way so much if your body, if your nervous system, even your spirit is doing the opposite. So to get into the whole of who you are, you actually need to open yourself up to the truth, to the reality. What is taking place here right now in all of you? How do you feel? How is your nervous system? Is it calm, or is it tight and tension? Or are you putting up walls? Or are you reacting out of your protective mechanisms, which mostly are due to negative experiences, they're due to trauma, they're due to challenges that we haven't yet addressed, they're due to being triggered by people that bring something up in us which we haven't yet been able to face in ourselves. There's a big bird going past. It's a heron, so that's a sign to actually come back to all of you and address the bigger picture here. So much can open up when you do that. And yes, it's not easy. However, it's worth it. When you start to play, when you start to look deeper, when you start to dive and really look at the whole of you, you start to unlock the areas, the parts in you which you didn't know existed, and you start to make peace with all of you. And that's when life can get to be a playground. That's when creating is fun and joyful. And that is when stress gets to be minimum, because you're no longer reliant on that stress to get you through. As human beings, we don't know that we're all of this. When you start acknowledging that actually you're actually much more powerful than you realize, and your spirit, you're here for a purpose, everything just starts to make sense. Everything just transforms. However, you need to be willing to go in deep into your wounds, into your traumas, into your coping mechanisms, into your cultural conditionings, into the society conditioning. It's like a whole other ball game, because so much of who we are is not actually who we are, because from birth until now, until this point in your life right now, this is a huge opportunity for you to get to discover who you are. To, like an onion, you peel back a layer and you get to discover something else. You peel back another layer and you get to discover something else. Now, how I work with people is on a whole. And I work with people on a whole in every area of their lives. Career, business, relationships, leadership. It all is one, because not one is separate from the other. And we go deep, and you get to find out who you actually are and who you are not. And here is where things can get really interesting, because you may drop a load pretty quickly and then miracles happen. These miracles are you, because you're creating a space, you're coming to peace with yourself. And this is where you get to feel fulfilled from the inside out. Because how many of us, right now, do you feel empty? Have you felt emptiness? And you're longing to feel something. You're longing to feel alive, fulfillment, peace, any kind of feeling, because the emptiness is just numbing you down. Here is an opportunity to actually meet yourself, to actually go into yourself, to discover, to feel, and to open up. And this is where many of us who are supporting others, especially myself, come in. If you truly want to live a life that is rich, at peace, where you are fully alive and enjoying, if you want to build a business, if you want to have a career that makes a difference in the world because it matters to you, then this is the way. I invite you to book an introduction transformation call below. If you're open to receiving support, this is the time.